So, Yungiin, what's good? What's going on with you?
Chilling on it. By the way, kids, it's a cigar.
Nah, I feel you. You gotta stay drug free. That's right. That's positive. You know what I'm saying? Promoting positivity to the children. So you like the cigars, huh? Oh, okay. Do say with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you like whiskey or brown with your cigars? All right. It's OG. Coming from the old school with it. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Cigars really they really just relax me, and then like when I drink it just kind of helped me relax even more. It's just, I do it with moderation. I ain't an alcoholic. The In the Room was based off the songs or the music that I may have out there. I just do it in moderation. I don't drink and drive.
Yeah, speaking about that, I think a lot of people do think that rappers live this kind of superstar, rock star lifestyle where it's full of drugs and things like that.
Some of them might do. It's all what worked for you. If that's what worked for you, hey man, so be it. Go ahead. But that ain't what worked for me. I like to really just stay active and focus on music and really stay in tune in the studio. And I'm always itching for the next hit, like the next big record that I can do. Something that's gonna surprise the haters. Like, damn, we thought this nigga was finna quit rapping. He didn't. You know what I'm saying? Or we thought this nigga finna fall off. He didn't. Because it's with the music industry being so competitive, with music period being so competitive, everybody always look for the next artist to fall off. Everybody from the streets anyway look for the next artist to get fucked over when they get signed. So I always want to be a person that people see me as making good business decisions as well as making good music, and also having a good team, also a good legal team. So it's no excuse for me not to be successful because I got all my chips in a row, versus than just me not having certain things that have had me established, because all that counts so much. Like, you being an artist, it counts so much. With the music you put out is true, but the team that's behind you, that's just as important.
That's right. You definitely need a full, solid team, to be solid across the boards.
I like to look at artists that take risks with their sound. I like to look at artists that take risks with their collaboration and still make the music sound good, versus then somebody always coming in the game just trying to play it safe because of a wave or a trend. For me, looking at it from hip hop, a wave or a trend is not real hip hop. A wave or a trend is just a wave or a trend. It's not gonna stick. It's not authentic. So I try to always make my music to stick. Something that's gonna rock like 10 years from now, 20 years from now. People can go back and still have a certain memory or a certain vibe or a certain feeling when my song come on 10 years from now. That's my whole goal, to make a music. I'm not a trap rapper.
Let's talk about your music.
Right.
So I see that you have S2 out.
S2 been out for a minute. S2, that was a record that I did. We elaborated on one of my interviews. It was just looking at the fact of you doing what you're supposed to do in life. You got to do what you're supposed to do. That makes sense. Like, even with me with this interview now, the universe was telling me, man, don't give up on music. Keep doing your music. And so, I try to, even though I ain't perfect, I try to still keep my spiritual light bulb on. And so it got to the point to where the universe was just tapping at me like, come on. Like, what I'm saying? Put something out there. Yeah, but what if I didn't pay attention to it? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, it's just everybody just kind of move different with what they do and how they work.
So speaking about S2, tell me, what's your favorite track off S2? Is it Adios, or what do you think? What's your favorite track off the album?
My goal was, when I did S2, I'm sweating because I'm drinking the Douce. My goal was to make sure that none of my music sound the same. Like, a lot of people music sound the same. Like, they track 8 or sound like they track 12, or they track 9 or sound like they track 16. So I try to just make sure that none of my music sound the same, and just make sure that I'm still targeting my audience that I want to target, as far as with how I make my music or whatnot. I had some people say that they like S2. A lot of people say they like S2 better than Corvette Crazy, and that was my whole goal. to make sure that people like the S2 and Adios better than Corvette Crazy, because the politics and the jealousy that I got behind Corvette Crazy, they just want to stick me to that. And I'm like, God damn, that's some old hating ass shit. Like I got songs out that's better than Corvette Crazy, but with the politics that's around me, Corvette Crazy, that's it. He don't need to do nothing else. Like
trying to keep you in the box.
Trying to keep you in the box. Try to box you in. Yeah, they'll try to do that shit, fool. So Corvette Crazy was good, but S2, the visual that I got in mind for that is just, I don't know where the game finna get ready to go. You know, like Adios, it's finna lead up to that point. S2 is finna lead up to that point because the sound is finna get ready to twist in music. It's finna go a whole different direction. So I want to be ahead of the curve when I did Adios, and I wanted to be ahead of the curve when I did S2 to give some certain issues in town and politics to line up with me so I can be able to move forward with it. But S2, you can be looking for a remix to, if Lord say the same, you can be looking for a remix to S2 with somebody out of New York that I want to work with. So hopefully that'll be able to take place.
So can you give us a sneak peek? Who's it gonna be? Now let us know.
Man, hell nah. Cause what rappers will do is they'll spy on your ass and you'll say you want to work with this person, and everybody else will start going to go work with this person because they feel like you finna go make a huge record with them, and then if you ever get to come out, then everybody will be behind the direction that you're going.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of slick shit like that with their music shit.
Yeah. Speaking of your music changing and it growing over time, let's take it back real quick. Let's talk about the Brandy record that you put out in 2017.
Right.
So what were you thinking when you put that out? Like what was the feelings you were trying to evoke with that record?
Honestly, bro, do say. Jay-Z had a liquor out, and to be honest, I used to have an affiliation with this liquor corporation, and the song wasn't actually supposed to be called Brandy. It was supposed to be called Duce. But what had happened was, when people heard the song that I did, the little freestyle that I put together that I did, and some of the material I wrote, they just liked it Brandy better, but it was always for Duce, based off of me being a fan of the liquor, being a fan, of course, of Jay-Z, and then a brand ambassador. I had ideas and things that I had in mind to be a brand ambassador of Duce, because there was a lot of ideas that I had to make sure that this liquor stayed #1 on the shelf. And then I wanted to actually, with me, rocking with Rock Nation or whatnot, as far as from a major standpoint, I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to bring to the table, that I wanted to sit down and speak with somebody with towards promoting an album if I ever had a chance to actually come out with my material, my music. So it was all based around Duce. That's the honest God truth, for real.
So when you gonna give us another hit record like A1?
Well, when I did A1, A1 was a dope record, but A1 was more of a for Air Force Ones. You know what I'm saying? It was really about Air Force Ones, and it was really about yourself and your parents, and it was really a record for the streets at the same time. A younger wear Air Force Ones. At that time, that's what I was on. Now with the politics and music and everybody trying to come behind my success with my music based off the politics with that, I don't wear Air Force Ones. I will never get caught wearing Air Force Ones based off of, when I came out of 2017, nobody wearing no Air Force Ones. Now with the success of Corvette Crazy, with it not being professionally marketed as it should have, everybody wearing Air Force Ones now. I just refuse to do what everybody was doing. But to keep it real, it was about Philly, because Philly, I always stuck, when everybody else started doing everything, Philly and New York, well, Philly mainly, they kept rocking with the Air Force Ones in the streets. Yeah. You just weren't seeing that shit on videos. So with me looking at Philly and how they did their thing up there, and me wanting to work with certain Philly artists that's kind of on the underground scene, but they hot, you know what I'm saying? But they not mainstream, but they hot in the streets. They hot in the mixtape era. Everybody I listen to music-wise is not on my YouTube messy channel on my phone. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different artists that I listen to that just be in the streets. You know what I'm saying? As far as the mixtape circuit, and me wanting to work with some guys out there in Philly back in 2017. I still got my eyes on them now. They gave me a lot of love, to keep it real with Philly, and the love that I did get, the little love that I did get, like, I appreciate it. But the love that I got from individuals that was giving me love, they weren't the ones in the streets that I just wanted to work with. But I was still looking at like, well, hey, this is a two-headed sword that I could work with in Philly, because Philly got a different niche of sound that they got. They sound towards rapping. It's real aggressive. It's real greedy. It's real hungry. It's real street. They whole style in Philly is real unique, and then my style can fit with that, but at the same time I'm more laid back and more player at the same time. So I knew it would be a hit record if I was to work with some artists out there in Philly, and that I'm still watching to this day. So you never know how God will open up doors for you.
So tell me this. Let's get into some fashion. Let's talk about fashion a little bit. So you mentioned previously in the interview how you didn't never necessarily rock Air Force Ones. What do you actually like to rock? What's your style?
The whole thing with Air Force Ones, you got to remember, when Rockefeller had dominated the game, they had everybody wearing Air Force Ones. Like, Air Force Ones is a New York shoe. So when I did Air Force Ones, based off me having more of an East Coast style, I wanted to target Air Force Ones because those are shoes that I used to wear all the time. Like, I had different colors.
Oh, so you did have a lot of...
Yeah. I just don't do it. I just don't wear Air Force Ones now because of the politics and everybody else wearing Air Force Ones. Like, I'm not gonna say never, but I don't, like, far as with videos and anything like that, I won't wear Air Force Ones because everybody is doing that again. So you have other artists that may feel like they wear Air Force Ones and this person wear Air Force Ones, but it was all based off of what Rockefeller had did in their earlier days, and Jay-Z and Biggs, based off them having Air Force Ones shoe deals and all that. They were the first ones in the rap game that I seen to do that. So then, looking at Philly and the love I got from Philly always stuck to the Air Force One shoe. So back in 2017, with me already having an East Coast style and me wanting to work with East Coast rappers and all this and all that, I knew if I target that shoe, that was going to be a way for me to kind of move around within a niche market to work with Philly artists, honestly.
Yeah.
And then also work with New York artists because Air Force Ones is a New York shoe. But at the same time, people wear Air Force Ones everywhere. I just knew that I was a fan of Air Force Ones so much. I used to get, you know how Air Force Ones had the logo on the side? Once, you know what I'm saying? I used to put GT on the side of Air Force Ones and flakes. My little brother was the first one to do that for me because he was like, man, here, everybody wearing Air Force Ones, you need to make sure your shoes different. So he took the Air Force Ones and put GT on the back in the corner of them in flakes. I looked at what Rockefeller did back in the day, and it kind of clicked to me based off what my little brother had showed me, and I went off of that with the song when I did A1. But that was all based off of a structure of New York and based off of them heavily wearing Air Force Ones back in the day. And it's like an old school shoe, but it's always a new school shoe at the same time. And I knew it was a shoe that'd never go out of style, and I bought so many Air Force Ones in the streets as a kid. And what had happened was, Jay-Z had his shoes out, to be honest, it was the S Carters. And I was broke at the time, and I ain't have no money. It was either buy the S Carters at that time or either buy a pair of Air Force Ones. And honestly, I love Jay-Z, but I thought the S Carters was ugly. So I wound up buying the Air Force Ones over the S Carters. I already wanted to have plans to affiliate with Rock Nation. Is how I came up with the Air Force Ones thing. Remembering back when I was a kid, when he came out with the S Carters, because if you look at it, the S Carters was hot at the same time around about when the Air Force Ones was hot too. So that's how that whole thing had came about with A1. Yeah.
So tell me this, you know the Queen Beyonce just came out with an album not too long ago. Did you check that out? What'd you think about that?
I love the album. My favorite track on there is Alien Superstar. Like, that's the one I'm hoping that she do a visual to, like a huge visual to, because I think that was just a record that was ahead of its time. But I love the whole album. It was jamming.
Cool. So I got a question. This comes back to the second interview that we did. Right. You were saying that you would love to work with Megan Thee Stallion someday, right, maybe on Corvette Crazy 2. Is there like a specific song you got in mind? You got something in the bag?
I have a lot of things that I would like to do with Megan Thee Stallion. Honestly, I do. But Corvette Crazy 2 is just one of them. With the politics that's around me and all the mess, I'm hoping we be able to do that. I'm hoping that's just something that if I'm able to, I have to really speak with her on and make sure that everybody kind of like in tune with the direction I'm going, so with the politics, bro. That music shit, the music business is just so flooded with politics and jealousy and hell and greed, honestly. But yeah, the Corvette Crazy 2, I already had a song wrote, I had a visual down. It's just that the politics right now with me, we have to get that worked out. But it'll be a hot record. I will make sure that it be hotter than Corvette Crazy 1, of course. That's my whole goal with that. But then I want to get rid of just go a whole different direction musically. I'm not one of them dudes that need a sports car in my video to make sure it's a hot visual. I'm not one of them dudes who need to wear jewelry and diamonds and shit like that in my mouth. Like, that's not me. The direction I'm going is just more natural. Natural teeth, no jewelry. You know, that was the whole thing with Green Team, was taking more of a natural direction to stuff that we was doing and making sure that the streets can feel it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even the type of dude that have girls twerking in my video. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to do that when everybody else doing it? You can't think of nothing else. You got all that money. At least you say you do.
Right.
You can't think of nothing else past having AK-47s and girls twerking in your video. That work for some people. That's their audience, but that's not the direction that I'm going with music. That's really not me at all. But with the jealousy that I got with music and the hate that I got, it's crazy how they'll try to switch shit up and based off of certain politics. But nah, man, like, it was just always Green Team. It was always me taking a natural approach. It was always about what can I do to be different from the next person. I'm not finna wear no fur coats in all my videos. Like, fur coats not even hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But it's a nice fashion. So it's just about being different, bro, from what you seeing everybody else do. And then honestly, now what I do with visuals, if I ever get to continue to, once I start back making more visuals or either directing certain artists with visuals, because there's so much stuff I want to do with music, it's amazing. I like to see what everything, I like to look at what's out, listen to an artist, and then, okay, let's do this because we're going to be different with this. Yungiin came in the game wearing hats. Fuck that, just, wear your hair out. You know what I'm saying? Do something different. Stand apart. Don't ride a wave. Don't ride a trend. Like, that ain't what's up. You know what I'm saying? Be your own self. Be your own individual. Because when people start listening to your music, and if they're a real fan of your music, they're gonna be able to say, like, damn, this nigga over here, he doing this, and he the one that's doing this by himself. You know what I'm saying? He not over here trying to do this like everybody else. People start gravitating to you more and taking a more tune into the shit that you actually saying, versus then you just playing it safe. You know what I'm saying? I think with the music industry, it's just playing it safe. How can we play it safe and how can we secure money? And I don't think it's enough gravitation towards hip hop, the direction that I went with Corvette Crazy. So it's always about me going a different direction than what other artists are going. So even with the stuff, the green or whatever color they doing, like, I'm trying to do something different. Y'all want to do that? Go ahead, do it. I'm gonna do something different. Y'all want to do that? Y'all want to wear bucket hats? Go ahead. I'm gonna do something different. So that's my whole thing to the whole music thing, so I can make sure I stay relevant and make sure my music stay timeless in the stuff that I do and the stuff that I put out. You know what I'm saying? It's always about being original. And it's always about love, and it's always about fun, it's always about the community, it's always about people, it's always about hip hop. So that's how I blew up, bro. That's how everybody started gravitating towards me. Even with certain issues that I may have in the streets, it was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it never went to my head. Nothing goes to my head. Money can't go to my head. Houses, cars, whatever I do or whatever I can purchase can't go to my head. It's always me keeping God first and just being thankful and grateful. You know what I'm saying? And appreciating other people that support my music and buy my music. You know what I'm saying? Thanking everybody for their purchase.
All right. That was a great interview catching up with Yungiin. Stay tuned for the next one.
Yup.